Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Devils United. Back again with another preview, and actually the final preview on my channel for this season because I have no time to do a Fulham one. But we've got a fantastic guest on today, Ankit. Long time no see. How are you doing?
Great, great, absolutely great. I actually introduced you on my channel. I was just doing a stream. I said going over to Maisy's channel, and she's one of the OGs of my channel because, like, we know that we've been collabing like crazily. When we were like, not even there. Now that it's great to be back again, but hopefully it's first of many again. But again, not great to talk about Chelsea. To be very honest, right now, I know I'm always
Yeah.
up for it, but as in again, football is what keeps us alive, right? Doesn't it? So awesome to be here.
Yeah, you're one of the OGs on my channel as well. I think I actually had, because I was looking back on my old podcasts, and you was actually one of the first guests I've ever had on this podcast.
Wow. See, as in
It was a
somewhere down
Champions
the
League
line,
one.
we had to do that again, didn't we? So great to be back.
Absolutely, always a pleasure. Before we get into the show, we will say hi to some people who's in the chat. Already plenty of questions. We'll go into the questions later on as people know how the previews always work. Hey there, GTV. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Can you tell Sancho to please rinse now? Thanks from G. Hey there, Sophia. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Fingers crossed we secure top four. Fingers crossed. Hey there, Rava. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Going in like Pride Becker's going from halfway lines and set pieces. Well, that's one way I'd like to say. Hey there, Reese. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Big show. You're undisputed number one. Thank you. Rav, quoted back to your Beck's tweet. You're the Rashford versus Chelsea in the cup, and you battering that free kick. I
Oh, I
actually
cannot
remember
forget
that
that
one.
one. That was a crazy one. So I have a little story about that, Reese. As a big up to you, but I was actually traveling, right? I was at the airport, and I'm like, oh no, Chelsea's playing. Got to watch that match somehow, right? So basically, I was in between flights. I literally somehow connected to the network, and I somehow got it. I borrow a laptop from someone in the lobby. Can you believe that? And I actually happened to watch it for a few minutes, right? That's how it was at one half of football. And then I see this. I know. I remember it was Batshuayi who kind of got a beautiful goal. He kind of headed it like a Drogba almost. I know I'm actually saying that. And then that Rashford goal. Oh my god, that is next level. As in again, that's one that one cannot forget for sure. One of the underrated free kicks ever.
It was a beautiful free kick, and
Yeah.
I'll probably say like maybe a lot of people may disagree with me on it. I actually think it's Rashford's best goal he's ever scored. If you're looking at each goal by not if you're taking away each opponent and you're just looking at the goal itself, I would say that would be the best goal he's ever scored as in a Man United shirt.
Wow. That's a big call. And again, I would not disagree with that. Having seen so much of Rashford recently doing so well at times, but I think in terms of a single goal that I'm talking about, yes, I think that brought back the Ronaldo memories. And if you know, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hey there, Daz. I'm well, thank you. Hope you are well too. Hey there, Chris. Thanks for coming in. Hope that you are well. And hey there to our lumber. Thanks for coming in. Hope that you are well. Yeah, I know you don't like talking about Chelsea too much, but I just wanted to have a little bit of discussion on the season. Where you think's really gone wrong for Chelsea this season?
I know I would not like to admit it, but I have to admit it. We don't have a clue what we're doing, and that's a
Mm,
fact. And see, right from I think it starts from the first, and I will not even point out this season. I think one common man that we have Manchester and Chelsea is Romelu Lukaku. I know people will say, why are you blaming him now? But if you remember, go back to last season. I think we were actually doing well as a club. It was one of our best seasons the previous season. We had just, won the Champions League.
yeah.
We were on course of winning the Club World Cup, the UEFA Super Cup. We had already won, right? And then this guy does what he does to the media. It kind of split the team, so as to speak, because I believe Romelu Lukaku is one of those, people who kind of, I would not say bully is not a right word, but he's one of those gang leaders kind of aura that he has in
Mm,
terms of the team. So I believe that from a lot of sources that there were a lot of split opinion within the squad as well. And then slowly but steadily, obviously the bomb fell down with Roman Abramovich. And again, Putin, I don't know what I'm going to do, but in my next life I'm going to do something for sure, because he's changed Chelsea's near future for sure. But anyway, that's political reasons, again, forget it. And then we had a new ownership, and Manchester United yourselves are dealing with it right now. You exactly know why. You got to be extremely careful at selecting the new owner. Said the right things again. Corporate kind of background, plus the fact that manager sporting team, but in the US, totally different. You can see pluses and minuses with Liverpool and Arsenal, for instance. But again, coming in saying the right things is one thing. Coming in, hustling is another thing. Having a good meal with Barca president is one thing, but actually window sacking a manager who's actually won you the Club World Cup, the UEFA Super Cup, and the Champions League after Lampard did what was the first time around. Although I love him, it's not called for at all. Whatever issues were behind the scenes, they should have sorted it. They should have spoken about it. It's like, okay, fine, this is our expectation. Fine, if both do not understand, agree to work towards that, fair enough. But at least give the new manager some time. Don't sack him or don't let him go one day after the summer transfer window has ended. After you spent 350 million, doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
any sense whatsoever. And player power is the thing in Chelsea. We all know that player power has been there for God knows when, and the players need an excuse. This was the best excuse that they had not to perform, and that showed. And then the World Cup came. Potter obviously has got a bad timing, plus the fact that he's not managed such big egos, player power, etc. So much money. He was a yes man. Potter wasn't the right man. Why were you in a hurry, Todd Burley and co, to hire Potter first of all? So it started from then, and then the World Cup and all the other things happened. The injuries, of course, not an excuse. This is actually a fact. We had at one point in time half our squad of 40,000 injured, which is about 20,000 injured. I know, just jokes there. But honestly speaking, the January transfer window, while we did brilliantly, it brought more problems to Potter. So he couldn't get time to actually, train with them. And again, the excuses, these became excuses. It could be a good thing sometimes when you have more players, everyone wanting to fight for the place. But
Mm-hmm.
because of the environment in Chelsea, because of the new ownership, the acceptance was there, and that is why that the John Terry
Yeah.
Drogba vibes weren't there about dressing room wanting to win every match, and that is what went from bad to worst to worst. And it is the worst season, at least from the time I'm alive, and I'm just following Chelsea. 1999 Champions League Barcelona match, I remember that was the first match I followed Chelsea, and from then on I'm literally not missed a Chelsea match. And that is how I feel it is. Even 1999 and 2004, when we did not win much, we were fighters, we were known for the resilience, and at least some people who kind of played for the badge. I can hardly name three or four right now, and that is the saddest part of it. Bringing Lampard back, I thought maybe it'll bring back the vibes, but I was proven wrong. And Lampard has become, let's be honest, as much as he did decent things in Chelsea first year at least, he's really regressed as a manager. He should leave management. I didn't know that I would say that 2 months ago, but I'm saying it right now. That's the reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is crazy what's going on with Chelsea at the moment, and I do completely agree with what you've mentioning about Tuchel. I really like Tuchel as a manager. I think he's fantastic, and you're looking at the players who you brought in the summer. They're the ones who suit Tuchel. Like, you're bringing in Aubameyang, who played with Tuchel at Dortmund. You're bringing in
Exactly.
Koulibaly, who suits a back three, just as Tuchel likes to
Yeah,
play. And
and we chased Koulibaly like anything, right? And then you sack Tuchel. Doesn't make any sense at all later on. Exactly, you have a point, certainly.
hmm exactly, and having them kind of players bringing in to suit a manager, and I think there must have been something what was going on more. He must have known before that transfer window was going to be shutting that he was going to be sacking Thomas Tuchel. And I think to let these players come in to believe, oh, I'm gonna be working here under Thomas Tuchel. This is the expectations with under Tuchel. This is what's happened, and then it's kind of in a way misled the new players coming in, and then you've got Graham Potter coming in, and I've always said with Graham Potter, it's a massive challenge. I think it was one of them where he needed to go to a bigger club to show what kind of worth he has, because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, he should be the next England manager," but they didn't want Gareth Southgate because they both play five at the back. I said, but you can't expect the same. You can't expect one manager to come in who plays the exact same formation what you're slagging that manager off for. And I said The thing that Graham Potter needs to do is to go to a big club in the Premier League and go from there. Can he handle these egos? Can he handle working with top players? And I don't think it's the fact that he could. I think he did struggle in some parts with the egos, but under the same breath, I think he had quite a lot to deal with in terms of the squad in itself. He's
Yeah.
inherited other people's squads because even before Todd Bolly come in, there was loads of different signings under different managers in that team. So it was very hard in general for, I'd say, for Graham Potter to get his type of balance.
See, it's about also just being like sometimes you got to be authoritative enough, right? Was he actually that strong in what he wanted in the
Hmm.
communication that he had with Iqbali and Todd Bowley? And then I'll have to question that because a lot of times, like he said certain things in the media, and again, people said that he didn't show the passion what is needed for a top club like Chelsea. Fair enough, you don't kind of get it from day one. You kind of build that. Fair enough, but at some point, we also thought after the Dortmund game, which was one of the high points of Graham Potter in the short tenure, that again, but again, let's be honest. If you and I, Macy, would have managed that game, Stamford Bridge was rocking that night, we would have won that game. That's how it is, right? So the fact being that, was he communicative enough to them? Because for me, if he didn't want certain players, which is clear that Aubameyang wasn't in the Champions League squad, why did he say the right things in the media towards Aubameyang? Like, he should have been strong enough. I know that kind of creates divide, but at least, like, yeah, you can say it in a very subtle manner. I'll take the example of Eric Ten Hag. He dealt with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Hmm.
Imagine nothing could be bigger, right? Nothing could be bigger,
Hmm.
and still he dealt it very well. And we all knew he is not for Cristiano Ronaldo playing in Manchester United anymore. We all knew that, right? But he told it in a subtle manner. He didn't lose respect. At the same time, he made his point very clear, and that is what is needed. Yes, I'm not asking Graham Potter to become an Eric Ten Hag, but that communication never came about. I'm just using Aubameyang as an example, Chris, but there were many other examples. Like, the squad was so big. At some point, he had to say no, thank you in January, and he just wanted to say that, okay, I want to work with this team first. Let me get back to you. Have confidence in me. I'll get this team to top 6 or top 4, and let's talk in the summer. He didn't do that.
Hmm.
Yes, it was maybe he was also tempted because, remember, again, going back to the point, he was sacked. Tuchel was sacked one day after the summer transfer window, so the timing wasn't right for Graham Potter because he didn't have his players. Fair point. But are you telling me Kukurea is not his player? Kukurea did wonders for him in Brighton. The guy is like a fraud. I have to say, Chelsea fans, no apologies, but even you guys would agree. He's been a fraud. What's he
Yeah, he
done?
definitely hasn't done well at all,
Wesley
Cucurella.
Fofana, someone that Graham Potter has seen week in, week out playing for Leicester. He's Graham Potter kind of a player. I know he's
Hmm.
injury prone, but come on, let's be real. He's not done half of what he's supposed to be doing when you're signed for 80 million. And you guys know them more than anyone what you expect from a captain
Hmm.
Maguire, right? I know Wesley Fofana is a very young guy, but in a season where we are doing so badly, our defense is where, see, as in a lot of seasons we've done badly. I've not say that we've gone and won every season, right? And I know exceptions are there. We had the club under turmoil with the club changing, etc. But the defense is something that I expect the least of. You got to sort out the defense. And Graham Potter, ironically, was not too bad in defense. And then comes Lampard. We all know, as much as he's decent going forward in managerial tactics, he's even again, me or you could be setting up the team better defensively than Lampard. That's how strong I feel about it.
Hmm. To be honest, though, I actually didn't think there was no issues with your defense whatsoever, especially when it did come to this season. I know you've lost Rudiger, and Rudiger
Yeah.
was a strong player to lose out on. But you're bringing in, like, I think another player who I'd say you probably overpaid on. Maybe I don't know what you think for Fano. I would be probably another one just because he has been injury prone quite a lot, as well as Cucurella hasn't done so well. And I know you signed another centre back. I can't remember if I think you signed him in
we
January.
said we said just about 20,000 players, so
Yeah,
it's perfectly fine, Maisie, that you've
yeah, I
forgotten
can't
the
remember
names.
his name off the
Yeah,
top of my head.
Badeshil, he's
Yeah,
actually good. He's actually good. And
I
again,
rate him.
and kill me, guys, as in Badeshil is injured today and he's out for 4 months. Bring it on. That's
Mhm,
Chelsea's luck as well. So it's everything going bad, right? As in, I understand, like, defense was still better. We had a lot of options, but that's what the thing is. Like, when you have a bit too many options, you need the leadership to stand out. And the moment when we need leadership, you are giving Jorginho to Arsenal. It doesn't add up, right? Doesn't add up. Simple. It's simple, doesn't add up. You're not just doing business, you're doing business but with a passion, with a mentality that Chelsea is built over the last 25 years. And I'm quoting 25 years because right from 1997 is when he started playing the cups. We got the
Mhm.
big names. Remember, we were a mini Galactico. We had got a lot of people might relate to it. We had got a Rude Hullet who kind of got a Zola, right? We got Mark Hughes, in mid 90s. So that was the time when we started this thing. And then obviously came Abramovich, the same team continued and we
Yep.
won the league. So we have developed that habit of creating a squad with a lot of stars, but a winning mentality over the course of the
Mhm.
years. And that is where, see, again, I think you could do 20,000 things right, but you can do one thing wrong, and then you're just starting back from square one. And that is what,
Mhm.
again, a Manchester United fan will know exactly, because that mentality that you had developed under Sir Alex, right? That's a different
Mhm.
level, right? And it's very difficult to replicate that. I'm not expecting that either, but it's very easy to fall off from a cliff, and that's what exactly happened with Chelsea this season. I think, again, Chelsea is just one example. Many set of clubs you've seen go that way. And again, I wish and pray that we don't have to wait as long as you guys did, and for us to come back. Just saying, I know, but doing well. I'm envious for sure this season, and I know things haven't been good after the Carabao Cup, but I think ETH, and as in, I'm a Dutch fan as well, and I've been, even when you know. Tuchel out was kind of starting towards the start of the season. I remember that I was like, no, ETH is the kind of guy we wanted. But again, you guys have him. So
Mhm.
congrats.
I completely agree, though. You do need to have, like, I'm not saying like you need someone who actually wants to play for the badge. Like it doesn't matter if you've got like world class players coming in, great, but do they really want to be here? That I think that's the difference. Like you look at the players who's coming in the past for Man United, and gonna name for example like Edinson Cavani, Paul Pogba, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Great, world class to great players, but did they really want to be at Man United was a big question. But you're looking at the signing to Ten Hag has brought in this season, Martinez. He was only really known at Ajax. Is he world class? No. Antony, only really known at Ajax, world class. No, it's someone who Ten Hag has already known of. He knows how to work with him, and I think
No,
that's something that
hand-picked
really
players.
works.
Basically, it's hand-picked, right? As in,
Yeah.
you're getting what the manager wants. That's the
Hmm.
huge difference. Yeah,
It is
there
a
you go.
huge difference, and it helps to build the team up really, really greatly. And I just think for me is like I know you're saying Graham Potter there in a 5 year deal, but I just feel like you need like I know you're getting Pochettino in the summer, but you really need that point where you need a lot of outgoings in the summer for me.
Oh yeah,
You need to get rid of quite a lot of these players who doesn't want to be at the club.
correct.
And as well as that, you've got long term deals with some of them. So I know that probably helps with the FFP too. Um, so if you get rid of some of them players, that will help with the books, and then
Yeah,
bring in
let me
some of
put
the
it this way,
players that we've
Maisie.
got.
Sorry to cut you, but let me put
Yeah.
it this way. So basically, by the time Mudrik completes his contract, Garnacho's kid can become a footballer. That's how long the contracts are, right? So, and for all the people, the media especially, like, Sarah, like, oh, we got a loophole. Is he like, are we, breaking the rules or not? Now bring it on. No one's telling it now, because now it's backfired. As in, if I got a job for 10 years down the line, guaranteed I get so much money. Trust me, I will not be as motivated as I will if I get a 1 year contract. There's a huge difference. And that is what exactly happens. And when you're a youngster, 20-year-olds getting such long contracts, it's uncalled for. Simple. We
Hmm.
cannot, even there's a limit to the number of people we can send out on loan. We cannot do a loan army thing that Chelsea always did and did successfully. I don't think we can do that. And now that the entire world knows that we don't have European football, we got to sell players, we got to loan players, everyone will take advantage of that, and we are boomed. But anyway, that's life, right? As a Chelsea fan, again, I was hoping, as in Pochettino does some madness. Again, not a big fan. Let's be real, he's not a big fan. Pochettino has done a brilliant job when it comes to certain, Spurs players, for certain Southampton players. We forget that, right? Even at Espanyol, he did very good jobs with some of them. But going back to the same point, maybe, does he have that time? We knew when Benitez was there in Chelsea, we won a Europa League for the first time in our, Chelsea
Hmm.
life. And then we celebrated that for night, and then we were like Chuck Benitez. That's the thing that we said. Why? Because the moment you get someone who's not like a happy-go-lucky types, or someone who's having a bad history with us, trust me, it's not going to go down well when things don't go well. And can we expect that Chelsea, as in, it's not going to be like magic, right? A magic wand where that half time Chelsea versus Arsenal, Conte changed the formation and that's it. Boom, it changed. It's not
Mhm.
going to be that. Every day is not a Sunday. So yeah, Chelsea fans, we got to be learning to suffer, but I just hope the suffering is lesser compared to this season. And
Yeah.
hoping Pochettino makes a change in bringing us some silverware. I know I'm saying that for real, but not a big fan. But he's good in certain things, so we got to take the positives and look
Mhm.
positively as Chelsea fans.
Absolutely. We'll say hello to some more people in the chat because there's a few people who's
Oh
came
yeah, for
in.
sure.
Good evening, Martin. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Good evening, Charlie. Hope you are well. Thanks for coming in. Good evening to Jordan. Thanks for coming in. Hope that you are well. I think this is one of your subscribers as well here, Ankit, in the chat. Thank you for
Mujahid
coming
in the
in.
house. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much for coming onto the channel. Hope you are well. Hey there. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. I think there's another one for you, one of your subscribers too, Ankit. Um, please, Chelsea, it's high time. Bring back our club legend. He's Eden Hazard. Is it to the
Not
point you want
happening.
Hazard? Do you want him
Not
back?
happening. Sanket, are you a Chelsea fan or Real Madrid fan? It's just saying me something because I know Real Madrid fans want to get rid of him.
Oh,
We've got a good deal out of the entire thing, but he's a legend. He'll remain a legend. Nothing going to change there. But I feel that Hazard, no, that train has kind of passed. That ship has sailed. No two ways that we're going to get Hazard. Are we? No. Okay, guys, I think Maisy has just frozen, so don't worry. I'm going to take the comments here. And again, everyone here, let's hit that like button, everyone. Great content creator Maisy that you're seeing. Devils United has some fantastic content, so let's hit that like button. If you're not pressed that bell notification icon, consider doing that as well. Maisy is going to rejoin just some internet connectivity for a second, so just hold on here. I think where was Maisy? I think she was at Sanket's comment here, right? Let me just see where is Sanket's comment. Okay. So going further, I think okay. I see Jordan in the house. Jordan, nice to see you. Absolutely. Chris is saying that's all that needs to be said. Nkunku was signed, and the manager might not want him. Exactly my point, Chris. Very good point. See, that's it. Again, Nkunku is a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. He's a very good player, but he is not exactly what Chelsea needed. Chelsea needed goals. Chelsea needed a striker. Chelsea needs a Didier Drogba reborn. That's what we need. We don't want Messi is back. Okay, fine, no problem. As in, I was taking the comments. Chris has put a brilliant point about Nkunku coming in the summer, and again, we don't know
yes.
whether Pochettino wants him, right? And see, these
Is
are
he
things about the
already signed?
he
Is he
he is
already
he is
signed? Yeah.
yeah, Nkunku. The reason why I think we're not announced is because just to respect Leipzig, because he's a Leipzig player right now. I think that's
Mhm.
why we have not made it official on the website. But our man Fabricio has said it. It's done. So I'm just going with it.
Mhm. Well, I think he's a fantastic player to be honest, but
Yeah.
the way he put like the kind of versatility he is, like I know Reese will probably hate me when I say this. It kind of gives me a bit like Kai Havertz, who can drop a little bit further back if needs to be.
Well, okay. Let me put it this way. I think he's more than Kai Havertz. I think if like he's very strangely, I'll say that he's a combination of how when Son came to the Premier League. Jung-in
Hmm.
Son. He can actually be
Yeah.
that good. Trust me, he can. He Son when he was playing for Bayer Leverkusen, he was more preferred on the right hand side. Then he came here, he became like a proper left winger, a left forward, so as to speak. Nkunku can do both the things, but in the space of pace, right? He can actually. One part that is probably good of Sterling is that so Sterling plus a Son, that combination, if you want to say, that is basically what Nkunku can become, right? A good of Sterling, not the bad of Sterling. The good of Sterling, and of course, when Son came to the Premier League, that is what he can become. But that's the whole point. He is not a centre forward. He is
Hmm.
again, like you said, Kai Havertz category of players who kind of plays behind the striker, a bit wide,
Yeah.
good in scales. Yeah, but he's like a Timo Werner coming from Leipzig. So you always feel as a Chelsea fan that okay, will it be what he did in the Champions League or will it be what he did in the Premier League? Because the Champions League and the Cup competition, Timo Werner was fantastic, right?
Hmm.
And he still has some things which we miss. Maybe Timo Werner can, Nkunku can get us back those things, but with better finishing from that areas.
Am I looking a lot better just to just to ask Ankit because I don't know if I'm still freezing or not.
All good, all good, all good.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. And hey there as well, Andrew. Thanks for coming in. Hope that you are well. Yes, so I completely agree with what you were saying, and I think the thing is, especially in the more recent years, players who've come from the Bundesliga hasn't really worked out at Chelsea though as well.
Yeah, as in again, like again, every day is not a Sunday. We hope this time, as in lightning doesn't strike twice. But like, see, Kai Havertz, I have my points. Like, I know people say he's a clutch player, as in people have said, gone and said he's a fraud. And even in my watch along rants, you might have seen me say that, sometimes passionately. But the fact is, yeah, by the way, having like the as in great honor to kind of meet Kai Havertz, and again, when I met him, that was absolutely fantastic. The moment where Chelsea Football Club actually invited me, and they surprised me with Kai Havertz being there. I think he's a very humble guy. He's a guy who wants to learn. That's what he comes across. So sometimes you kind of get that connect. I feel that
Mm-hmm.
he's that guy, that kind of guy. The issue is that his confidence is gone from this level till this level. It's
Mm-hmm.
really gone down. Why? Because he is not a striker. He's not a goal scorer per se. By Leverkusen, yes, he did much better. But even in Chelsea, if you remember the first 6 months, he wasn't too bad. He was quite good. In fact, I remember certain games where he kind of like some beautiful skills, that he plays. Again, German fans would know that as well. He does some beautiful things. But problem is we haven't utilized what he's good at. We have probably made him worse at that, and you trying to utilize him in things which is not good at, and that is what is a problem. Someone who actually gets Ramos and a Thibaut Courtois on the floor has to be good enough. It's just that our managers haven't utilized him. I'm not trying to say that he's a starter, but he can become a decent number 10 if you play a 4-2-3-1. We don't play that. He is not a number 9. That is a good excuse for himself, by the way. He needs to pull up his socks for sure. But I feel that that's someone that I would like to, just keep around and not go for Joao Felix, who apparently is costing us 80 million. Would you?
Yeah, I understand what you mean, and I think as well sometimes when you are looking at like the price tag of a player, I think more people look at it and think you need to be doing a lot better for the amount you're being paid for, and at time to time, it's kind of unfair onto the player as well. I seem to think just because like you look at some players and you think it's not their fault why the price tag is what it is. It's what the former club has valued them at.
Yeah.
And I think for me is with Kai Havertz, where I think he would do so well is if he had like the likes of Brozier in front of him or next to him. I think that kind of big striker next to him would really do him a lot of favors.
Yeah, it will. It will. I think again, going back to the signings, David Datro Fofana, underrated signing is what we were expecting him to be, but we hardly used him. Used him for 45 minutes as a starter in the league. Used him in the cup against Man City, Potter. But for whatever reason, we did not play him again. Blame the size of the squad. Blame the change of managers. Blame Todd Burley. I don't know. Someone who's been recommended by Didier Drogba has to be taken seriously, isn't it? So
Mm-hmm.
I get a point. A striker is as in first need. As much as Nkunku, Sterling, Havertz, Felix, they might be good players in a certain system. Firstly, we're not playing the system. Secondly, everyone, each one of them that are named, everyone requires a proper center forward, and that's what we are lacking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think for me, sometimes a false nine can really do clubs favors, but then when you have a false nine, you're limited in certain areas. Like I've
Yeah.
always said, like this season we're really limited on like getting the simple tap-ins. You're limited on people in the air as well. But then you're looking at, for instance, um, at Tottenham, who's got a great striker in Harry Kane. As much as he's still got all them goals, he doesn't have the service at the club either.
So that's the perfect marriage, right? Pochettino's coming, Harry Kane's got to come, but we know that. Come on, Harry Kane will move from Spurs only if he's guaranteed trophies, and we at Chelsea right now we aren't. So that's not happening. But I think that's the kind of striker. You hit the nail on the head. That's the kind of striker. A low-profile name, Jonathan David, that not many people have spoken recently. I know last season
Yes.
he was a lot spoken about because of fantastic season that Lille had, but I think this season also has been quite good. That's some kind of a striker which is more realistic in us getting him. I know even Manchester United were linked with him in the past, but
Mhm.
I believe a Marcus Thuram, someone like that, who just basically does what a Olivier Giroud, and that's the miss we have, to be honest. Giroud is someone who's still, pulling it apart. So someone like him, what he did in the 2018 World Cup for France, not scoring a goal, but just doing a job, will allow other players to, do well. Yes, we need a goal scorer, but I think other way around can also be looked at. We need basically, as in a better version of Emil Heskey, put it that way.
Mhm. If you was gonna pick, like, what striker would you have at Chelsea? Out of any striker in the world, who would
Yeah,
you have?
as in, I think I have a thing for left-footed strikers. I just named Giroud there, but I think Vlahovic is one
Yeah.
which might be realistic as well to an extent. I know only if we are under the bracket of FFP, that is, not otherwise. Vlahovic, I believe, is around 80 million. Again, huge money that we generally when you sign players for huge money, they don't perform. Let's be real. But Vlahovic is a left-footed striker who has a good free kick on him. We actually missed that point about having a good free kick taker in our team. Actually,
Mhm.
if Mason Mount, for instance, is not starting, right, that is an issue. Reece James, Mason Mount are great, but Reece James is injury prone. Mason
Mhm.
Mount, we all know things going on. We'll speak about that. But for me, that is one point. Plus, Vlahovic is a good header of the ball. We cross balls for Kai Havertz. Can you believe it? And Kai Havertz is the last person you're crossing balls to, right? As it doesn't make sense at all because he's not a number nine. So I think Vlahovic is someone that if you give me the money and like you can sign anyone right now, Aussie man Vlahovic, but I think I've gone for Vlahovic again because of left footedness. That's the only
Mhm.
reason. And he's not
And
starting at UAZ.
for Man United's point of view, like, you've got you looking at our wingers, like,
Hmm.
they're very greedy. They're very greedy.
Yeah.
They like to cut in and try and shoot. They're not going to be ones who are cross. And if you're going to look at that from that point of view, I think Osman's actually the wrong signing for Man United because he's having to rely on
Mm.
people to actually
Yeah.
provide for him at Napoli. Nothing wrong with that. I actually like strikers who do get provided for. I don't like them dropping deep and trying to get fend for themselves. I don't like that, but I think that is what it's going to be at Man United, and that's why I always said that I would rather take Harry Kane for that reason because despite him not having no service, he's still on 20 plus goals in the Premier League. Another one that
Good
I
point.
would take would be Martinez from Inter Milan because he's another one who does
Yeah,
a lot of the dirty
actually,
work.
we are very strongly linked with Lotaro because of the Pochettino tried to, obviously the Argentine connection is there. I don't know if it's lazy journalism, but I think Pochettino believed to have been following this guy for a while. Like he's been trying to get him to the clubs that has been at PSG or at Spurs, which has not really happened. So this time maybe third time lucky, but let's be real again. If Chelsea fans are watching, and again if United fans and neutral fans are seeing, but let's be real, we aren't getting a Lotaro. A Lotaro is a World Cup winner right now, and I love my club. I know that we have the pull to some extent for sure. I'm not going to say no, but the realistic aspect is a Lotaro will get more offers. For example, a Manchester United, right? He's not coming to
Mhm.
Chelsea, and that's the whole thing. You're in Champions League, and looks like you are at least as of now. So why will Lotaro come to us unless he kind of absolutely is in love with the manager, which doesn't happen. That era is gone, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. You don't see it anymore where they go, oh, I want to play for this manager or I want to
Yeah.
play for that manager. It's very rare they'll say it. They'll say stuff like, oh, I want to come to the biggest club in the world with such great success. They never say it's because of the manager, which is a
Yeah.
shame. And you don't see where, like, when the player leaves, you feel the love still of them players. Like, you probably see from, like, for Chelsea years ago, John Terry still loves Chelsea. Drogba still loves Chelsea. You're looking at from a Man United point of view as well. You still got Scholes who loves United, and Rio Ferdinand and Roy Keane, and I think that kind of breed has really, really died in football.
Yeah, it has. It has. You can't say anything to a player. That's what. So I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said, right? The things that used to happen in the dressing room that time. Trust me, as in you gotta have a PTA meeting right now if that's going to happen right now, because trust me, the players aren't taking it lightly. See, that's the thing. John Terry cleaning the boots off. I think Desai was it. As in that's the learning. Sometimes that old school works. As in maybe just maybe. I was actually of the view that until I think the time when Potter was sacked was obviously around the Real Madrid, before the Real Madrid game, right? I was thinking that maybe we should just wait till the summer. I was of that view, and we should go with an old man who kind of commands respect, who'll get the players kind of working from minute one and not minute 90, just to show the audience or be it on social media. But for me, that man seriously was Ancelotti, someone who did not get a fair, for time at Chelsea. He did brilliant stuff with Chelsea. I think
Mhm.
Ancelotti could be, even now, you never know. I know things might have changed right now, but he could have been available in the summer. Who knows? Even Spalletti, for example,
Mhm.
he's not a. We have a thing for Italian managers, yeah, Chelsea always have a thing, and generally Italian managers have done well at Chelsea more
Mhm.
often than not.
Mhm. Um, Martin says some breaking news. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Juventus have been reducted 10 points.
Wow. That's again for people who know me, and just to let you all know for the others, but I have a soft corner for AC Milan as well, because back in the day I used to follow Kaka Shevchenko. The Maltin is like anything, and I am like all of a sudden breathing because that means that AC Milan will be in the top four. But to be honest, I have a strong view here. Listen, there's no smoke without fire,
Mhm.
right? So I think
Exactly.
what happened with Juventus cannot be all untrue. So I think uh, getting them acquitted was definitely not on. And I actually saw this coming. Only surprise for me is because of the fact that, again, I love my Italian football as well. But honestly, the kind of corruption also goes on that we know. I'm surprised that it's come before the season's ended, if that's true, right, Martin? So that's
Yeah.
again, sorry Juventus fans, but I think Juventus as a club deserve it. The fans don't deserve it obviously, but as a club, come on, there's no smoke without fire. I think they deserve it, and I think the other clubs who are doing it right need to deserve more. Simple as that.
Mhm. I've just had a look at the Serie A table as well, and the points have actually been reducted. It's put Juventus in seventh place. So the top five are standing at Napoli, Lazio, Inter, Milan, and Atalanta. They're in the top five now, and that's not Juventus any chance of European football.
Wow, that's breaking news for sure, 100%. Now, does that make it easier for us to get Vlahovic and you to get Rabio?
Oh, you know what? Another one who I would actually take from Juventus. He's actually went from Leeds on loan. I actually would take Weston McKenna. I think he's actually really, really good.
Oh, okay,
Someone as
that's
a
a good
squad
one.
player.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't take him as like a starting 11 player, but as a squad player who can actually be coming off the bench to be like a Casemiro backup for if you got a bit tired.
So you're
I'd do that.
saying do not sign Sabitzer. You'll probably have someone like a McKennie, is what you're saying.
He's already the thing is I like Sabitzer, but the problem is he's already on like his third, fourth injury since January, and he's ruled out for
Yeah.
the rest of the season.
And that's why his career hasn't taken off, and let's be real about it, right? And that's one of the reasons for sure. But yeah, that's an interesting take for sure. But talking about Leeds again, Manchester United and Chelsea fans, hand in hand there, because we know the dirty Leeds. Hopefully, again, look away Leeds fans, but let's see if they are there or not in the Premier League. I see that there's a possibility that a Nonto is someone that'll be looked for
Mhm.
sure as, and there'll be a lot of players. Leicester has a few players, so I think you're right. Somewhere down the line, Leeds, the Leicester, again, no disrespect to Leeds and Leicester, is just how I feel that these players probably deserve, let's be real.
Yeah,
Yeah, not us right now. We are not great. I'm not like to claim that, but let's be real. We are coming back as well sometime in the big game.
absolutely. Hey there as well, Static. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. Yeah, so I just wanted to get your thoughts really as well on the appointment of Pochettino because I think it took a lot of people by surprise, especially when you see a few people in the front running too, like you seen Vincent Company as one of the front
Yeah,
line, and
Nagelsmann,
yeah,
Postecoglou, as in
Nagelsmann.
the names were, and see that's what baffles me. Like I know that you guys tried for Zinedine Zidane. Zidane doesn't want to come to English football. I know that
Yeah.
as a fact, right? And but you got to try. You got to try. There was absolutely no news about that. I was very shocked. The guy is a genius. And if you're saying me Zidane isn't a genius, come on. Come on,
He
as
is
in, it's not about
fantastic.
language. Come on, as in, if we are here as Premier League fans saying that Marcelo Bielsa was a genius, and he was to some extent, as much as I say dirty Leeds. Same time, Marcelo Bielsa changed their football, and right. And if you're saying that man is genius, you gotta you even admit, despite not knowing the language, Zidane could do his thing. So we got to try. So I was very surprised with the names that we were. So again, I think Reese asked a question earlier about Vivel, and as in the kind of backroom staff we have, the management, which was missing. Let's be real, that was missing in the Tuchel. We didn't have that. I know Petrcek was there, but really, Petrcek was really a Chelsea man. He wasn't. It wasn't his thing, the director role,
Yeah.
etc. So Vivel and Vince Stanley, etc., are good. They have done that, of course, with the Red Bull group. But that is where a bias comes in as well, right? Sometimes when you do not have a certain experience, it sometimes helps because you are looking from scratch who are the best options. You're not having your preconceived notions. So these guys had a list already, right? Because of
Mhm.
the kind of guys they were going for when they were maybe at Leipzig or Salzburg, etc., right? Or be Brighton. So we are Chelsea. No disrespect again to the Red Bull group, no disrespect to Brighton, but we are Chelsea, right? Our
Mhm.
standards, our targets should be right, the very, as in the very top targets. We may not get them. I'm not trying to say here, being in what 11, 12, 13th positions, we'll get them, right? But still, if Chelsea calls coming, you at least turn your head, right? As in, so I
Mhm.
am surprised by the names. Again, going back to the Ancelotti point, the Zidane point, there were others, even Spalletti, like I said, he might be available. So I
It was
think,
Enrique as well, wasn't there, who was
oh
linked?
yeah, how can I forget? For me, if not Zidane and Ancelotti weren't even options, I think Luis Enrique should have been the man. And I'm not even counting Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann has done very
Yeah.
good. I know that Bayern has probably gone downhill after him, but Nagelsmann would have been a Potter, but it's just that it's a German Potter. Let's be real about it. Okay? So I'm not going to say that Nagelsmann has proven enough, but I think Enrique, come on, someone who's won so many things is a winner. And even in Spain, you would argue that Enrique did some brilliant stuff. He didn't have a great squad, but he's in the, I know, Nations League, but still he did brilliant stuff. He has his egoistic moments. He wasn't a yes man, and that is why probably he did not get the job.
Mhm. Absolutely, and I think for me with Pochettino, it's going to be interesting with him coming in as a manager. I know a lot of Tottenham fans were happy. I think it really caged them up, but then I just turned around and just said, like, you've literally took Chelsea ex-managers of Conte and Jose
I went on
Mourinho.
the
What's your
rant.
problem?
I went on the rant, Maisy. I'll have to admit that the first time he was linked with us, I went on the rant. I'm like, no way are we getting Poch. Because again, for people who know me and follow my channels, know that I am passionate about my club and I am, right? And I am, yes, I should look at manager objectively. But football isn't an objective game. It is a passionate game. You got to have. Will he be able to love Chelsea as much as, say, even a Jose Mourinho? I was able to even admit to the fact that even he might be dinosaur football, but he is still doing his thing. I would rather have Jose Mourinho than Poch, but I got to give him a chance, right? To be fair, because he
Hmm.
is someone who's recently managed Messi, Neymar, so they must have seen something in him, right? That's what I'm saying.
Could he
Uh,
handle them though? That's the
he
thing.
did
'Cause
not, arguably he did not, but at the end of the day, they won the league, right? The second season, though, I know,
they
not the
said,
first season, half
yeah.
season, but second season he won the league, he won the cup. So, and he does play some decent football. I'm not going to say here, sit and say just because it's Spurs, and he was at Southampton, all due respect, that he did not. He played some really good football. His teams did play some good football, and working with youngsters, working with less budget, working while a stadium plan is in place, a new stadium plan is in place. So those are things that kind of hit the tick mark. But again, going back to the same point that Reese was mentioning, right? That about are are options enough? Like, did say a Vivel and a Winston Lee, etc., did they see more options? I'm not too sure about that, but I have to give him time. And but when things go bad, trust me, Stamford Bridge will not be as rocking as what it could have been when things are going bad under Jose Mourinho or an Ancelotti. Just saying.
Hmm. Yeah, I think for me, Poch could be a bit of a hit and miss, just because of we don't know how well he can really handle the egos. We don't really, because I know PSG, even taking away the egos, ownership is a very, very toxic environment, and I don't think many could really handle PSG. But I
Yeah,
do think under the same breath is as you said, based on what he has done at Southampton, what he has done at Tottenham, I think he overachieved in that Tottenham team. Having no
yeah,
transfers coming in and getting into a Champions League final, because realistically, he was getting top four season in season out. He could have
I
got
agree.
some
I agree.
great players coming in.
But Messi, that's the whole point, right? He did overachieve, but up to what point? And then As in, let's be real. 2016, when we spoiled Battle of the Bridge, and I remember he supported Musa Dembele. If you know, you know. Go back and watch that clip. Why I'm actually quoting that. He's that same man we're talking about, right? And he's the same man who actually bottled the league. Let's be real. He's the same man who bottled the Champions League final, right? As in, you can argue that as well. Like he had some brilliant moments, but is he having that winning mentality? Because even this current Chelsea squad, as much as we have achieved in the last say few years, and that's why maybe we are not as hungry. The reality is, in English Cup competitions, we have bottled as well in terms of finals,
Hmm. Yeah,
right? So
the back-to-back domestic cups, isn't it, with
yeah,
Carabao
so
Cup and
we
FA
needed
Cup?
someone who really, is having that character. That's the only question I have. That does he have that winning character? Again, jury is out for me because again, maybe I'm judging on what happened at Spurs more compared to PSG because I'm not going to claim here that I'm going to watch every match of Pochettino's Spurs. I did not. Sorry, Pochettino's PSG. I did not. Right, but again, we did see the important moments. Right, beat his players. Yes, you can say that if not for I think Donnarumma's mistake against Benzema, he could have gone and won the Champions League again. If could have again, I don't know. But we got to give a chance. Beggars are not choosers. Yes, I'm calling my own club that, but the reality is that we have reduced our own options by hiring, and sacking managers, right? So we got to take and give them a chance now.
Hmm. Hey there, hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Chelsea haven't won against United at Old Trafford since 2013. That was under Sir Alex Ferguson, from what I remember. I don't expect to win, probably a draw or a loss. To be honest, though, Man United versus Chelsea is one of the most the fixtures what's got the most draws in it.
Yeah, again, like my as in most passionate reactions my watch alongs come during Manchester United Chelsea, and that's the reason. And Gaurav, you've hit the nail on the head. You exactly know my feelings, bro. I always say this as much as respect Manchester United deserves. If the any era in the last say 35 years, if you're counting, this is probably the last 7 8 years when you say that you probably did not need to give so much respect to Manchester United just on the gameplay, I'm saying, compared to before. And that's the mistake that we made. If you see, even under Tuchel, whom I've praised, we used to give far too much respect to Manchester United's of the world, Arsenal's of the world, because they are a top four side, and let's be real, they are, right? And that's where we did not take our moments. And now we are at the lowest moment. And Manchester United need a point, and that point is so important. We know how it is, right? So we all know
Mhm.
what's happening, basically. Let's not kid ourselves.
1-1 draw and coming.
Yeah, you know what? It's written on the wall. Even last match, I know you guys dominated, but Casemiro with that last minute header was it? As in, I went mad. As in, the moment was there, and it's just something that I've seen in Manchester United Chelsea happen so often now. So it's like it's written in the stars, right? It's there. Even Liverpool Chelsea to some extent. These are two fixtures
Yeah,
that you know it is going to be a draw. It's just about how exciting the draw
always.
is going to be.
Hmm. Always. We'll go into some questions before we wrap up.
Yeah.
We'll start with Chris's question. What's your thoughts on Todd Boehly? I think he will be a good owner in the long term. He will learn from his mistakes he's made this season.
Yeah, then again, there are two ways of sitting and looking at it, Chris. One is like the fact is like he went to Tuchel saying that let's play a 4-4-3, and again, it kind of became a joke. He's someone who again knows the game of baseball or basketball because he's from that side of the world, and not just him, even Iqbali and others were there, right? But if you want an owner, right? If you want an owner, you want an owner who cares. You want an owner who tries. He's that. So I'm not gonna. Yeah, I myself have not. I'm not gonna lie. I've put up the Todd Bowley with the clown emoji on my screen while being live because at times, yes, I lost it as well because of what craziness has happened and what Gary Neville said. I cannot disregard. It is a fact. He has played FIFA manager, but you got to see at least appreciate the fact that he's trying and is ready to kind of dig deep into pocket, not only of his but clearly capital. That's something that I like. And yes, his decisions have been wrong, but he's ready to get his hands dirty and learn. So let's hope this time, third time lucky.
Hmm. Yeah, hopefully that will be the case for Chelsea. I think it, like you say, it's just about gelling in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Because not all owners do get it right straight away. Because it look at the success Man City's got. It did take them a few years to get that success there as well. So we never know, that could be the case again when it does come to Chelsea. Now's got a question for you, Ankit. What's your thoughts on Mudrick, who was also linked to Arsenal, being spotted at the time on Instagram that he was liking Arsenal's posts and that he attended Arsenal games before he signed for Chelsea? I didn't know he attended any games, bear in mind.
Yeah, I think nine, bigger brother, but I'm pretty sure that's not on. But yeah, I think the fact is, yes, he wanted to go to Arsenal. I'm not going to sit here and say that he did not. But again, I think the Shakhtar owner came out and cleared out things that the offer that they gave was probably not at par with Chelsea, and then his mind changed himself, not just Shakhtar, right? So that is there. Plus, I'm not going to claim here saying that he wanted to go to Arsenal because of Arsenal. Arsenal fans look away, but the fact is, he wanted to go to Arsenal because there was Zinchenko there, and that was the
Hmm.
sole reason, the only reason. And here, because there was a Ukrainian connection, remember, a certain player called as Andrei Shevchenko has played for Chelsea, and I'm pretty sure there would have been offline conversation. I'm 100% sure about that, and that is where his mind changed, along with obviously the money and the long contract. No two ways about it. Cannot claim otherwise. But honest performances, people are saying is a flop. I see a lot of comments there. I know he's an easy target. Yes, he's raw. I'm not going to say that he's someone that who is Mbappe already, but am I going to say that he has a ability of that level? Yes, you might say that deluded, but I think he has. Problem is that the way he was used at Shakhtar, we are nowhere close to using him. He is one who relies on his pace, relies on his change of pace, relies on one twos. That is his game. His first touch is terrible, as even worse than Lukaku, if you know. No, right? That's how bad it is. But still, we haven't used him enough. We haven't given him the confidence that he needed in the Premier League. It's a new league. And
Hmm.
that's where the managers have missed a trick. Hopefully, Pochettino understands that and he gives them that, because we all know what he did to a Son. um, Fingers crossed he will, but yeah, it'll take time. This is very low.
Absolutely. Hey there, Liam. Thanks for coming in. Hope you are well. Andrew has said something which I'm kind of hoping for as well. Ankit, can you have a word with Emma Hayes about dropping Sam Kerr for their game against Reading next
You
weekend?
know what? Okay, Andrew, thanks for the question. Big shout out to the Chelsea women's team. If not for them, we wouldn't have been relevant this particular season, at least. That's how important the Chelsea women's team is. Emma Hayes is a legend. She's a living legend. So is Sam Kerr. You know what? Without these two, come on, let's be real. Chelsea Football Club, there would have been a question mark this particular season, and that's how big they are. Other day in the live chat when he was streaming, right, when you're looking for new managers until Poch is officially confirmed, people like, why don't Chelsea offer Emma Hayes? I think that is a disrespect to Chelsea women's team. There's a disrespect to women's football. That's how it is. Why are we saying that a women's coach should manage the men's coach because she deserves it? A women's coach should manage the women's team because she deserves to manage that team. And that is what we need to realize as a football fan base, and I hope everyone agrees with me there. I don't know what your
Mhm.
thoughts are, Maisy, about that.
I completely agree, and I think for me, it's Emma Hayes. As much as like Chelsea's a big rival for us in the women's football, and I think she's an outstanding manager. Things that she's done at Chelsea is incredible, and I think that the way people have said, "Oh, she should be only limited to the women's football," is absolutely crazy. Just
Oh
because
yeah, that
she's
that
better
way
than a
that way if you
lot
look
of
at it, I
men's
agree.
game.
Yeah, yeah.
She's
No, I
better than
agree.
a lot of men's managers, and I think for me is that women's football's growing massively, and I think you can really see it this season, especially in the WSL, where the competition is a lot more intense than it compared to when it was last season.
100%, 100%. As in, again, as in, I'm not kind of trying to, say, sing about her because we have won stuff. The thing is, see, what speaks out about people like Emma Hayes is like, these are people who are passionate about what they're doing for the job, right? It's not about
Yeah.
Chelsea, Manchester United here. As in, it's clear the passion is for everyone to see, as in love for the game, and the intent, the objective about taking women's football to the next level, that is a different mission altogether, and that's something that is on track, and trust me, it is. And again, Macy is someone who would know more than anyone, and she covers a lot of that stuff, and she knows the stuff. So for me, again, Sam Kerr, as in, these are people who are, how many women footballers are there on the FIFA cover? Like this, these are huge things, right? And this is a landmark for women's football. So for us, we need to back them, or rather say that we don't mind, the men's kind of, vouching for those jobs, and that's how it should be in the future. Let's see.
Hmm. Absolutely, and I think for me, it's just gonna get bigger and bigger, and especially I'd say since England's won the Euros, that's when you've seen the intensity of um women's football's grown. I know it's grown a lot in America a lot earlier than what it has here,
Oh
and
yes.
it's still developing in Italy, it's still developing in Spain. But I think eventually it's gonna be absolutely massive. But
No, great point. Just to add there, so Maisie knows it, as in for people out there. So
mm,
I've lived in Canada for a good what, almost 7 years, right? So as a matter of fact, I'm telling you, until Alfonso Davis came to town in Canada, as in women's soccer is bigger than men's soccer. Period.
mhm, absolutely, I agree. We only went ready to win. Sorry, Ankit, because we'll win the league. For the first ever time, like even one of like if both of us win, you've got the league, but we need you to lose, basically.
Come on, our season has been absolute shit with the men's team. Let's get something for sure. Is what I
You've
would
already
say.
got the FA Cup
But
from us.
yeah, thanks for giving us Laura James back. She's been fantastic.
Well, you got Lauren James off us. You got the FA Cup off us. Well, it
Yeah,
is what it
come
is.
on. Yeah, exactly.
We'll do a couple more questions and we'll finish up.
Sure.
Dad has asked what your thoughts on VAR is this season. The thing is when VAR works, it works. It's not the VAR itself; it's the people who are using the VAR. Is what the problem is for me. And you look at like decisions in it. You don't hardly have any decisions in Italy. You don't hear any decisions in the Bundesliga. What's gone wrong? You see, hear the odd things in La Liga, but you don't hear much from anywhere else. I watch a lot of the Portuguese league, and even though the Portuguese league it isn't a great in terms of officiating, it's still consistent. Whereas even though it's a tiny foul, it's still a yellow. It's
Oh
that
yes.
level of consistency, and there's no consistency regardless in the Premier League. And I just think they
Yeah,
are
there's
at
no
the moment.
standard, right? Exactly. No, I agree
Yeah,
with this because again, it goes back to the moment where Wolves Liverpool, as in, come on, the camera angle not being there, it's all rubbish. And let's be real about it.
yeah.
So it's about them finding excuses. The men behind it or the people behind it should be, little bit more confident of what they're doing and should be answerable. And I think a lot of pundits are saying that referees should come out, especially the VR should come out and open and talk about it, because that's maybe, the fact that if they are in the limelight, might not be good for that moment. I know there's a lot of social media hate against them, and I feel sorry for that. But maybe they'll feel next time they'll be a little bit more careful doing things right and taking that extra bit of second, which is why VR was approved after a long wait, remember.
Hmm. Absolutely, and I just think not that it's come too early in the Premier League. It's just that we just need better referees, and I don't know about you, but I've said that like just as there's like players from different all over the world in the Premier League, why not do the
Mhm.
same with referees? Why does it have to be limited just to English referees? Bring in some Portuguese, bring in some Spanish, bring in some Italians.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get that in the Champions League anyway. So have that kind of consistency in all leagues spread, and then you get that
See,
a little bit consistency overall.
yeah, it's just that, like, can they get the quality referees from there? That's a big question. So will it kind of be bad for them? That's a debatable aspect. But again, why can't we get one referee? You have a great point. Why can't we get one referee, one of the top league referee from
Hmm.
every country that that referee, say, a FIFA World Cup game, and offer them, and let's see if other boards allow it. As in, that could be one of the things for sure. That's a good idea.
Hmm. Absolutely, but we'll never know. Hopefully it'll change, but with VAR, it's just one of them kind of things. Chris has got a question here. Thoughts on Mason Mount? I feel like he's lost his confidence and he's a manager that gets the confidence back. He will thrive under Klopp at Liverpool. I don't know why our fans are angry about it.
See, again, he splits opinion. Mason Mount, I'm going to always say that Mason Mount is the Cobham boy, someone who's been here since the age of 7, and won us the Champions League. I don't think someone could feel more for Chelsea than him, right, in the squad. That's for sure. But at the same time, you cannot just play on that basis. You got to perform. And to be honest, until last season, he was performing. Even last season, where arguably in the league we did not do as well. He did come out as one of the best performers. So I think he did get a player of season as well. I know, arguably no, but the fact is that he has certain things which a lot of managers, not just one, two, three managers. We used to say, a lot of neutrals used to say Lampard's son. No, that became Southgate. That became Potter as well when he was fit, right? That became so many managers who have openly spoken about Mason Mount. The fact that Liverpool going, Klopp going for him, it's clear that the guy knows something and he needs to be there. I would say similar to Kai Havertz. I don't think, yeah, confidence is definitely one of the good points that Chris is saying. I agree with that, but it comes down to, can Mason Mount come, like, say, for a stopgap contract and prove himself again? Yes, I know it's kind of debatable. Why should he? Because he's done that, one of the Champions League. But come on, that's a results-driven business. He's got to do that, and then maybe get a longer contract, and that's how things should go. I don't know why it's either black or white. There could be a gray. So keep him around.
Hmm.
I don't want him to be around just for the sake of it. But if Mason Mount is around, he's not going to be an Aubameyang, as much as we know what Aubameyang is off the pitch.
Hmm.
So pretty sure I'll have to keep him. Cannot see him kiss a Liverpool badge. That's for sure.
The thing is with Mason Mount, I think I really like Mason Mount. You know that I'm a massive fan of Mason Mount.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is he's one of them with the Chelsea fan base is a bit like Marmite, I just like to say. There's people who really like him and some people who really dislike him. And I think at time to time he does look a bit of a scapegoat in the
Hmm.
Chelsea squad. I don't know what you think about that. And I think if he was to leave Chelsea, I think the best option for him would be to actually go out of London altogether, just have a bit of a fresh
Yeah,
mind.
I know what I very very great point, because for me again, the German football fans, I see Reese's comedy amount of the eight role works exactly. That's the point. Plus, Reese, I know you follow German football, my bro, and clearly with Bellingham going to Real Madrid, all of a sudden I know people might say Dortmund are winning the league. Think about it, Dortmund. Think about Mason Mount. That's all I'm saying. But again, we don't want to do a Kevin De Bruyne again. I know he's a different player altogether, different category of player. Yes, I agree. I'm not going to compare here between the two. No two ways about it. But the context is similar. In a sense, I know Kevin De Bruyne wasn't a Cobham boy, but we shouldn't have let him go. That's also real, right? So you never know. Tomorrow, 3 years down the line, he comes back and plays against Chelsea as a Liverpool player. So honest opinion to God is like, I would keep Mason Mount, and I think his work rate and his passion for Chelsea is enough for me to say, if he's committed to the cause, just keep him around. It helps.
Mm-hmm.
We lack leadership. We lack leadership. He is a future leader.
Mm-hmm. Hey there, hope you are well. Thanks for coming in. I completely agree with this. I think Mount would actually work in the United system. Just the only reason why I'd say that is because he could play multiple different positions. Because he's played as a right winger, which I think he can compete with Anthony there. He could drop in the 8. He could compete in Bruno's 10. He could play 3 different positions there, and I think if he's not playing in one role, he could definitely play another at Man United.
But Maisy, that's the thing. If he's leaving Chelsea, he's leaving Chelsea to be a starter week in, week out. If he's got to be a squad player, he'd rather be at Chelsea. Come on.
I'd make him a squad player somewhere. Somewhere. I'd drop Anthony, and I'll
Oh
bring
wow. Wow.
Mount in. I
Let's
know
see.
that
Let's see.
that's bold, but it's true. Hey there, Indian Scouser. Thanks for coming in. Hope that you are well. Let's have a see. We'll finish off with this final question. Mays, we won the Carabao Cup, have a slim chance of the FA Cup. What do you think our objective should be in Ten Hag's second season? Ankit, what do you think Poch's first season target should be objectively? I'll go with you first, Ankit.
See, as in Poch, again, these beggars are not choosers. As much as I would like to say, we just won the Club World Cup a year ago. But let's see. As in, I would take a top four finish and definitely a cup. Yes, it's a bit too much asking of the Chelsea side, which is finishing 11, 12 to 13 this season. It's a bit too much, but let's be real. If you're putting 11 versus 11 on paper right now, we still should be getting top four this season. That's how good our squad is. It's not about squad being bad. It's about getting the right manager, getting them to work, having one up, up behind, and actually working off their asset. That's what they need. So for me, I will definitely expect a top four. Otherwise, yeah, as in top six and maybe a cup, I'll take that as as well. But if I'm going with objective, I will go with top four and a cup. Again, I am ambitious, but that's how Chelsea's given me, unfortunately, in the last 20 years.
Mhm. I said that at the start of this season with Ten Hag. I thought we was going to finish fifth, so that's already exceeded my expectations. But I said that I wanted a cup this year. I personally said the Europa just because I'm one of them where if we don't win the league, Europe's got to be next, and then domestics afterwards. And even though we haven't got Europa, I'm happy with the Carabao Cup. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, it's the Mickey Mouse Cup and stuff," but I think it's just that little bit of silverware, and I
Oh
think,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Come on, I
and
would
I
I would bite your hand off if you'd given me.
and I think for this season, next season, we need to aim for third. We need to aim for one step higher, and then we actually, I would say, try and get into knockouts of Champions League, depending who we've got in the groups, and then we need to do well as get again in the domestic cups because I'm not expected to win the league. I'm not expected to do well in the Champions League, not at all. So I'm not expected to win either of them. So that's why I want us to at least go for the domestic cups, aim for as far as we can in Champions League, and then the league go for third.
That makes sense, and just reminds me that we are not in the Champions League.
Well,
That's
not
life.
yet, but not yet. But I'm hoping so. By the time it comes to Thursday, I'm hoping that we will be secure in Champions League
Yeah, you
football.
definitely will be. Yeah, for sure.
Hey there, Oddly007. Hope
Come
you're
on.
well. Think Oddly007 thinks you look cute with a clean shave, Ankit.
I can't see you oddly, but same to you. That's all I'll say.
With that, I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much, Ankit, for coming on. It's been
My
great.
pleasure.
Would you like to say your school prediction first of all?
Sorry, I lost you there. Was it?
Oh, would you like to say your school prediction first of all?
Oh, okay. Come on. I think. Okay, you know what? The fact that we have we have scored goals recently until we met City, I think there will be goals. There will be goals for sure. We're not seeing a goalless draw like a Liverpool Chelsea sees, but I think let's go with the 1-1 all. I think 1-1 makes sense. It kind of gives like a goody factor to both the clubs, and the fact is, let's be real. Both the clubs are not in form. So I cannot see many goals, but at the same time there could be at least a couple of mistakes. So 1-1 looks more likelier. And we got to do something against Manchester United. It's been a long while, but I cannot see us doing better than draw. Very, very optimistic under Lampard, but come on, he's got to get his point there. He's got to.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go for the same. I know people are going for United wins in the chat, but I think the same 1-1, just because we never win. Like either one of the two draws. Like I don't
Yeah,
even think we've even had a win. None of us has had a win at
yeah.
Stamford
But we
Bridge
do
for
have a lot of injuries,
years.
though. So that might be playing into United's hand. But yeah,
Mm.
certainly I hear you.
I think the only way we could get a win, the only thing that will help us is knowing that our home form has been spectacular this season. I think in the league we've only lost once at home, and that was
Oh
against
yeah,
Brighton. But if we got a 1-1 draw, it wouldn't bother me because we still got the Champions League then. And
right.
then Fulham's just one of them where it's
Yeah,
like it's all
academics
you.
really.
It doesn't matter if you win or draw because we got the Champions League now. It's just one of them for us. So I'd happily take the 1-1 draw.
Yeah,
Is Rashford fit? From what I've been hearing with Rashford, he was only out last week because last game because he was ill, not because he was injured. He was training all week, and then the final day of the training he picked up an illness. So I am expecting him to be back for the next game coming ahead. And am I happy Phil Jones leaving? To be honest, I do feel sorry for him. I don't know if you read his like goodbye speech, but he was saying like he was
yeah, I
struggling
did.
mentally, and it kind of like you've seen over the years a lot of people was laughing at him, taking the mick out of him, and all that time you've seen he was really struggling there.
Yeah, him and Smalling, I remember. I can never forget those memes, right? But again, like I was just joking on my channel just a couple of hours ago, and I was saying like maybe, just maybe, as in I know Maguire is the captain, but I think maybe Phil Jones, because of who he is and because of his injuries record, he's not played much, but probably he deserved to play a little bit more for United, because I think whenever
Yeah.
I've seen him play, he's at least given his 100%, right? Like a
He's
lot of
always
Chelsea
played for the
fans,
badge,
yeah, we
and that
just
was
say
last
that,
season. We didn't have that at all. Just as
yeah,
you had it this season, where you mentioned you hadn't played for the badge. No one played for the badge, and I remember that Wolves game in the Wolves game in the FA Cup where we won. No, it was Aston Villa where we won. Or Wolves. It was
yeah.
one of
I
the
remember
two.
one of those cup games for sure. Like, he
Yeah,
gave a good performance, and that was
he
like,
got man of
wow,
the match, and it was his
yeah,
first game since 2020. Everyone had their head down, and he had to put 100% effort in. He was bouncing it up and down in enjoyment because he
correct.
wanted to play football. And he just, I think for me though, he'll probably go to the championship, and he'll probably be one of the better defenders in the championship because he still has
Yeah.
some great pace, some great tackles in there as well.
You never know. Leicester fans, I know it's still not there. I know, I'm actually sad for Leicester, if I'm being honest. But yeah, you never know. As in, you need proven players, so maybe he's one of them.
Hmm. Absolutely. Thank you yet again, anyway, Ankit, for coming on. It's been
My pleasure.
fantastic. Would you like to shout out both your channels? I'll put them in the description and
Oh
the
yeah, for
bio
sure.
as well.
Yeah. Firstly, everyone here again, thanks for coming on. Anyone who's coming from our channels to Maisy's channel, Devils United. Like I said, on my channel, Maisy is one of the OGs of my channel as well. Again, we've been connected like right from the start of our respective channels. So big up to Maisy and the team entirely here. So let's hit that like button again. Yeah, hitting that bell notification icon definitely helps on Devils United. Some great content I see a lot of times. Again, because of time difference, I may not be able to come here, but I wish this is first of many again. But here, yeah, I do a lot of content. Yes, you can see the name Almighty Blues FC. So although I am a Chelsea fan, I do have soft corner for AC Milan, Netherlands national team, and of course Indian team. But yeah, this entire season I've tried to do content entirely on top five leagues as much as it's been possible, plus the World Cup. So I do produce a lot of content. So hopefully you guys will find something interesting to be coming on and joining us as well. We do have a very interesting quiz, and I know Maisie had hers as well. That's something that we need to
Yeah.
collab more on. That's something that you would love. I'm pretty sure. Who am I? And the other channel is more of Almighty Sports, which we generally speak about sports. So that includes cricket, that includes football. We cover a lot of stuff randomly, the Commonwealth Games, for example. So that is more like a general channel where you can find everything and everything. We can speak about sports. Just sports fanatics are there. Almighty Sports and Almighty Blues. That's where you can find me.
Hmm. Thank you so much for coming on, Ankit. It's been brilliant, and it was definitely long overdue because we
Oh
haven't
yeah.
done a podcast in, I'll probably say, since the start of maybe this
Start of the
season, end
season.
of
Yeah.
last,
Start. I
maybe.
remember you were on my channel, I think, start of the season, and that's when we did a preview on Manchester United Chelsea. I remember that, and that game. We all know what happened, but hopefully you'll be back on my channels as well. But again, big
Hmm.
up to the chat, big up to Maisie, 100%.
Yeah. Big up to you as well, Ankit, and thank you so much. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to Ankit's channels. Both of them, both fantastic channels, and Ankit works very, very hard on both of them. And as Ankit said, he is one of the OGs on my channel as well. He was one of my first ever guests on this channel. So go and check out Ankit, and as I say, hit the like, subscribe for both channels. I will see you all Wednesday for Man United women preview versus Liverpool. So everyone take care. Have a lovely evening. Bye bye.